Bang. Good morning, y'all.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, again, this chapter is all about accountability from a lean standpoint. So it's all great to have all kinds of innovation and figuring out how to do things better, but how do we pull everybody together as a group and hold each other accountable to the entire team? Let me I'm gonna grab my screen here. So where we are in chapter 6. Just love and it's entitled Collaboration and Accountability. Thank you guys, those of you who did my survey. Nobody told me stinks and stop, so that was good. Suggestions were more interactive, so try to be more interactive with you guys, speaking up a little bit, try to get you draw things out of you. But yeah, everybody seems either really good or good. So I'll keep going. So the key points. So obviously, as lean thinkers, we know this, that you're going to get a much better answer with a group, right? When diversity of thinking is what we're after, not just top down. And also the other assumption always is that the people who do the work have the most knowledge to make the best decisions, right? So whether it's a machine operator, whether it's a nurse, on the floor of a hospital, they know the problems. Like they know. Now it's a matter of making sure that we don't have the eighth waste. So it's the downtime, defects, overproduction, waiting. Well, the eighth one is unused employee brain power, and that is, just expecting our subs just to come in and just punch a clock, do the work, go home, and we try to direct them. The old ways like herding cats, because every sub has their own agenda. They need to make money. They need to make sure they maximize their costs. They have their own self-interest. They know how many people they want to put on the job so they can still see something at the end. And the other part of it is they might give you a lot of buffer. And I think all of you guys that have done pull plan, sometimes they'll say, hey, it's going to take me 3 days, but I'm going to put 5 days on the board just to make sure I don't get downgraded. So we want to try to continue to have the dialogue. And I haven't really seen this as a problem. Have you, Pat or Sergio? I don't know if Bob's on. Have you seen that where guys are saying, you know what? It's going to take me 3 days, but I'm going to put down 5.
Well, if they do it,
Yeah.
they're probably not going to tell you.
Yeah, they're not going to guess low.
Yeah. Because they want to make sure, like, once you start measuring, and I've heard it already when I was with Sergio last week. I think we saw John from Century Concrete. They know that, that you're kind of being held accountable, and I think I'm going to show you the A3 from a couple of years ago where it was much different situation in terms of the relationship with the subs. So the lean in the last planner system, the 5 connected conversations, the accountability and percent plan complete is one of those 5 conversations. And again, the scorecard for construction in general, according to Charlie in the book, is about 54%. And then he talks about a tool called 5Y. And then, like Pat and I just talked about, was putting the owner on the full planning board in some cases, like the changeover, like when they have to move out of the existing building at Central Vet into the new one, but getting them, gave them a commitment of 5 days. Well, let's put them right on the board. Not have to necessarily grade them, and this was the, here comes Kevin. This is Central Vet back in, what was this one? Back in August, right? Yeah, Pat. So this is like
No, I was going to say, I think that was the first block, or was that the second block?
Yeah, this is the first one.
This was the first block there.
Yep. So let's get into how we hold each other at O&L accountable. And
Those guys are all smiling. They must be pretty happy.
I think it was pretty fun. I think John right, Serge? He was pretty pumped up last week.
Yeah. He's into it.
Yeah. He's like, man, I seem like getting a lot of work from you guys all of a sudden.
Who's that?
John at Century.
Oh, John, yeah.
So I want to take you back a little bit in the time machine. This actually, we used to do something called A3, and we kind of still do them, but they're much less formal than this, in terms of how we make improvements. So the idea was, we had a problem. Pat was the leader of this one, and the team was the Friday 11 a.m. So that was a lot of people that are on this call. As you'll see, the problem was wasted time with non-job ready subs. All right. That was the issue. And this A3 started on 9/18/20. And we kind of finished it up on 1/22/21. And I'm going to show you the implementation plan and the result of how we got to where we are. But here's the issue. If you look at the background, top left, this is laid out background, and then current condition, then root cause analysis, then the target condition. And that's how you read it. Top left, down, then you go to right and down. And basically what you're going through here is what we call the DMAIC: define, measure, analyze, improve, control. It's a logical problem solving method instead of just jumping to fixes, and implementing band-aids on things. Define, measure, analyze, improve, control. So the background, which is defined along with the current condition, is about 20 minutes per day times 240 work days, about 19,000 minutes, which is equal to 320 hours, which is equal to about 8 40-hour weeks per year. And this was measured over time, like over a couple of weeks. Said, hey guys, just keep track of how much time you spend when a sub shows up and doesn't have any idea what they're doing. They don't know what the scope of the job is. And some of the statements here, and Sergio kind of is the one who gets credit for the term job ready subs. So you see Sergio there? That's back in 2020. Like they don't know they haven't seen the drawings. The material there. These are all the things everybody wanted to see then. They understand the scope. That was Tommy. They understand the PPE. They come equipped. This was a current condition then. This happened more often than when you wanted it to back then, to the tune of about 320 hours a year of just babysitting subs as they show up on the job, right? So when people get switched out, they lose the scope because you get a guy for a few weeks and they come back and you got somebody else. They don't come in, and you get a replacement. And you got to do it all over again. And the wish was, hey, we need to have people that know what they're hired to do when they show up. I can remember, Pat telling me I have to show them how to swing a hammer sometimes, right? So this was the current condition, right? So they show up without PPE. You have to explain the scope of work. Different people show up, and this is all listed in the current condition. Instances where people need to be schooled in their job. This was gaining agreement with all of our supers. I think Ange too, right? Probably 9/18, I would guess. I know Cliff. I think Alrun was involved. But this was gaining agreement on exactly what the problem was. And the root cause was we tolerate what we teach, right? What we tolerate, we teach. It's okay to show up unprepared. And that's what we kind of taught. Another root cause might be we had a limited number of subs that we can use. And certain subs have the sharpest number, and I think ultimately, at least in my own business, it's not always cheapest. They might have the sharpest number, but in the end of the day, they end up costing us more. And the target condition is exactly the opposite of the current condition. What do we want to see? Right? We want to establish a grading system for subs. And again, this was you guys did this, right? This didn't exist. And then I'll take you through what the grading looks like, just for those of you that don't maybe not necessarily be exposed to it all the time. We want to share that with the trades. We want to share the numbers with them. We want to make sure they know that, we're accountable to each other. And we want to be able to expand the viable options and develop OR&L job-ready subs. Thank you, Sergio. And we got input from Megan, Dave, and Matt regarding their criteria also for job-ready subs. And this is all part of the ORNL last planner system. So this is how we implemented all this. So let me start with every week, our supers hand in to Cliff this particular document here, where they largely go through and they kind of spell out, here's a description each week of their commitments. So here we have VNF Paving. This is actually Sergio. We got All American, Prime Electric, and the Persia Masonry, and what they're going to do that week. And then here's the number of the days, and these are the days they committed to. And they basically measure, did you do it or you didn't do it? And then there's a little bit of a commentary here of how, how they worked. Did it get done? From there, each sub, in this case, DNF, All American, Prime, and the Persia, they're ranked on 5 different categories. And I'll show you what that looks like in a second. 1 is preparedness, 2 is on time, 3 is communication, 4 is site knowledge, and 5 is the quality of the work. And from there, they get graded out. And you guys have seen the grades. I think there's 1,200 or so commitments over the last couple of years that we've measured. Each of them are all graded. There's a running score for everyone, right? So you get a sense of, which subs are knocking it out of the park, which ones are doing okay and average, and which ones may need some help, or maybe not performing the way as job ready subs. They're not showing up enough, or we have examples of all 3. The average score right now on a scale of 0 to 20 is 14 for, I think it's 80 subs. And they've all had, the average number of opportunities is they've had 15 on average opportunities. Some have had 70, some have had 5, depending on the 5 or 6 jobs that we've pulled. And then from all that, this is what you get from me each week, which is this dashboard that spells out the number of commitments for 2024 and what the percent plan complete is, 86%. So 86% of the time, if they tell you they're going to evacuate for underground electrical feeders and data feeders, they go ahead and they satisfy that. They meet their commitment. And then I measure the percent plan complete for active jobs. So right now we have Friends Center, we have Kevin over at Coventry, and we have Central Vet. And then we also track, as part of job ready subs, the reasons why we didn't hit it. And as always, labor is always at the top, or it seems to have been at the top. At 37% of the time, if they don't meet their commitment, it means someone didn't show up or whatever. It's usually labor related. So I want to just go a little bit deeper and show you the criteria that your supers are grading on. And that is right over here. And again, thank you, Cliff, for the church that you do every week, and also you guys, and doing it every week. So if you look at this is what gets handed in to Cliff. And again, I'm at the Friends Center. If you look at preparedness, there's a little red triangle in the top corner here. And if I touch it, preparedness means they have the correct tools, they have the current drawings, they have the correct manpower, and the PM and management is on board. They're not just throwing people bodies at the job. And and you rank it and score it. You get points for the preparedness. On time means they arrived on site when they said they would. It means they met their commitment and they're able to get materials. They're not waiting on materials. Communication with the foreman, with the other workers on the job, with the other trades, with the PM for the job, with the design team, and they attend all required meetings. Site knowledge, and these are not things that I came up with. These are the things that you guys did. And I think they're really, really good criteria. Site knowledge is they know the job, they know their tasks, they follow the property rules if it's a shared space, and they're aware of other trades involvement. So in other words, that one means, yeah, they know what the pull plan is, it's in the trailer. and they know what other people are doing and when they're doing it. They're not just blindly saying, hey, you're good to start next Wednesday, right? And then the quality of work, obviously, is they follow the safety guidelines. They clean and neat workmanship. They clean up daily or weekly. They adjust to changes very easily, and do not make a lot of mistakes. That is not, again, that's what you guys came up with yourself. And what is a ORNL job ready sub? And that's what we're measuring them against. It's interesting because it depends on who's measuring. Some evaluators are a little stricter than others. Some are easier than others. But because we have so much data now, it's all becoming, you have a lot less outliers, right? It's kind of becoming more uniform. You know, and what I mean by that is your best subs are being graded the same way by multiple people. But that has to get worked. It got worked out over the last 2 years of measuring. So that's how basically we handle the accountability piece. Let me get back into the PowerPoint in a minute. So that's how these scores come up each week. So this was just this past week when you saw the, the report that I send out Wednesday after I get the information from Cliff. So I accumulated all. And for each week, there's like, again, 2 years worth of data. Here's the number of opportunities for each sub. And here is their score. That's their average score over 75 opportunities for AB, for example. And so that's how we do chapter 6 at ORNL. And I think there's one lean tool I want to show you. Oh yeah. So also in the chapter, Charlie talks about a lot of times when problems come up, we think about who, like the 5 who's, like who did it, who's at fault, who's wrong. And in terms of lean thinking, the right process will produce the right result. So normally we try to stay away from the 5 who's, and instead we use a tool called the 5 whys. So if we want to know the root cause of a problem, it's said that we ask why 5 times. And maybe some of you guys have seen me do this one. This is my favorite one. Let's say once in a while I wake up with a sore back. What do you guys do when does anybody else have a sore back once in a while?
Not like.
Oh, yeah.
So what do you do when you have a sore back?
Stretch.
Stretch,
Warm up,
warm up, run around.
warm up, then stretch.
Warm up, then stretch. Pat, what do you do?
What do I do?
You don't get sore backs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Except maybe you take an ibuprofen, maybe
Yeah,
ice.
take a pill.
Yeah. So going back to that A3 thinking, right? This box right here, the root cause box, that one bottom left, right here. This is where we would do 5 why. And so let's say it's a back. I'm going to put an A3 team together. I'm going to have my wife Gloria, my daughter Lauren, and one of my friends maybe. And you ask why 5 times. Well, once in a while, I end up with I wake up with a sore back. Because I have a team, a diverse team, like you had with the job ready subs, the diversity of thinking is going to be a lot different. So the first why would be, well, why do I wake up with a sore back? And my daughter might say, Dad, it seems like you sleep on the couch a lot. So why do I sleep on the second why? Why do I sleep on the couch a lot? Well, my wife might say, well, because you never remember Valentine's Day or my birthday or anniversary or anything. We end up in an argument, you end up on the couch. So why don't I remember those important dates? Because I'm not very organized. Well, why am I not very organized? Because I don't use technology to remind me that Valentine's Day is March 14th. So if I learn to program my phone, I don't need to stretch or run or get ibuprofen or ice or anything. But you cannot do real good root cause analysis. And this is an area where I think as we get into those causes, those reasons for missing commitments, and some of them are in control, some of them aren't in control. aren't in our control, but it'd be a good way to practice 5Y. And I think. Thoughts? That's chapter 6.
So Bill, I just want to let you know that Valentine's Day is February 14th.
Yeah, we're gonna save you a trip to the couch, Bill.
I'm gonna sleep.
March.
I'll be able to sleep in the bed, Kathy. Thank you.
Listen, I feel your pain because I do fight with that particular date a lot myself with my husband. He thinks it's a Hallmark holiday and he doesn't believe in it. So
It
there's
is.
there's a difference of
He's
opinion.
100% correct, Kathy.
Yep.
There you go.
That's
I
another
knew
huddle,
he
okay.
would get support on this call.
Don't hold your breath.
Nope, I buy my own gifts now. It works out well.
Yeah.
Thoughts, guys?
I mean, I think, you know, as you're going over a couple things, Bill, I think the job ready subs, if you were to say, what do you think makes the most difference, impact on overall project? And that, in my opinion, it's job ready subs. And I think everybody on the call is probably going to have a little bit of variation, but if the subs come job ready, they can help out. And even if there was another sub that didn't understand what's going on and the super wasn't in earshot, it, you know, can really help a project.
I mean, I got Kevin on the call, Pat, Sergio. I don't know if Bob's on. I'll probably listen to the recording. Is it better? Like, in other words, okay, we do all this. How do you find it? You guys are the judges. You're the one who live it, right?
I think that the subs see it. If they show up job ready and other guys around them or guys that are doing tasks in front of them already, I think they could see it. I mean, for them, it's bottom line, you know, they're not standing around. Their guys are more productive. Their guys are more effective. You know, I don't think it takes too long for them to figure that out.
I have a question. How has that metric changed since 2020?
I'm going to have to go back and open up all those other columns. I'll do that for you. So I could probably give you an average sub score for 2020, 21, 22, and 23. Yeah, we're in 24 already. So I don't have that answer off the top of my head. I've never looked at it. But it'd be interesting. That's a really good way to, and again, they're back into the data, right? And learning. That's excellent. That's a great question. I'm going to find that out. You could see the overall change in the percent plan complete.
Right.
I think I sent that out this week to you guys for the years we've been measuring it, and it's kind of, I don't expect it to go from 80 to 100, but it is going 80 to 80.6. I think it was about 86 or 84 for 2023, and that's with a lot of commitments, and that's a tribute to the conductors of the orchestra. You know, that's and Sergio, Pat, Kevin, Mr. McDougall. I mean, really good. I know I got to walk through Brent Center last week with Sergio, and he happened to be doing a with John. He was doing a pre-construction walk around and kind of going through everything. Everybody knows the work when they show up. I'm sure. So, is that good? Was it all right?
That was good.
We only
It was-
got 2 chapters to go. I'm sorry. Anything else, people?
So,
Good to see your smiling faces. I miss John R. Have a great day.
All
You
right.
too.
Take it
Thank
easy,
you,
guys.
have a
Bill.
great weekend.
Thank you. Have a
Talk
great
later.
weekend.
Okay,
You too.
bye.
Take care.
All right, thank you. Bye.